Qatar issues different types of visa, but on today's content, we're going to be talking mainly about the family visa. I've seen a lot of people reach out to me in regards to the family visa, the requirement. They want to know everything that is pertaining to family visa. And I saw a YouTuber who mentioned about free education in Qatar. Today, I'm going to be clearing everything for you all so that you all will be well informed and well aware of the family visa. So if you are currently in Qatar and you are thinking of bringing your family over to Qatar, you are going to know the procedures and what to put into consideration before bringing your family over to Qatar. And if this sounds interesting to you, please do well to watch this video to the end, and please don't forget to like this video. Hello. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Shioma, and if you're just seeing this beautiful face for the first time, do not make it your last. On this channel I share Qatar related content, lifestyle, and everything you need to know about Qatar. In case maybe the noise, you're hearing some background noise, this is an outdoor vlog. Please ignore the noise and focus on the message. Now let's get right into our video for today. Let's start with the requirements that you're going to be needing before you can have or before you can bring your family over to Qatar. Okay, the first requirement is for you to have a valid ID. You know, if you're not a resident of Qatar, if you have not been in Qatar, you cannot bring your family over. And some people will tell you that, when you are coming over to Qatar, you can just bring in your family over to Qatar just like that. You will need a company. That's when you have your ID, then you will need a company to sponsor you and your family. Remember in my previous video, I think I'm going to link the video somewhere up here, where I told you about Qatar sponsorship. How Qatar is, you have to be under a company. You cannot just be a single entity in Qatar. You have to have a sponsor. So this boils down that for you to bring your family over to Qatar, there are some companies that when you're coming over to Qatar, they'll tell you that they are going to give you like family sponsorship. That means they are going to be catering for you and your family. That's one. It's okay if you are getting a job that is catering for you and your family. Yes, you can bring your family over to Qatar immediately as you are coming to Qatar. But when you are coming on your own to Qatar, maybe for example as a freelance visa, you need your company. You need to have been working with that company for 6 months. So the second requirement is any company that you are, you need to be working with that company for 6 months for you to be able to bring your family over to Qatar. And the third requirement is you need to be earning up to 10,000 Qatar riyals to bring your family on residence. What I'm talking about today is about the residence visa, okay? Maybe if you want to bring your family on a visit visa, all these requirements, they are not really needed. You just need to be earning about 5,000 Qatar riyals to bring your family over to Qatar on visit visa. But when you want to bring your family on resident visa, your salary should be 10,000 and above. While the most important one is your professional status. Regardless of the amounts you are earning, there are some certain professional status that if you don't have, you cannot bring your family over to Qatar. For example, maybe on your ID, you are a driver, or maybe on your ID, you're a laborer, and you are earning over maybe 20,000, over 10,000, you cannot still bring your family over to Qatar, okay? That's why your profession is very, very important. And I said it in my previous videos. That's why some people prefer to have a freelance visa, because when you have a freelance visa, you can determine which profession you want to be. But when a company is bringing you over to Qatar, just be rest assured that it's what they are employing you for that is going to be on your ID, and this is going to cause like a little bit of limitation maybe when you want to bring your family. So the fourth one, I guess, is for you to have a very good professional status like supervisor, manager, CEO. Any good professional status, you are supposed to have it. And the fifth requirement is your marriage or the birth certificate. If you have kids, you have to have their birth certificate. If you are married, you have to have your marriage certificate. That is the important Very, very important one. And the last requirement, this is a requirement. There are other documents though, but these are the requirements I'm mentioning. Why the other requirement, the last one I'm going to be talking about is accommodation. Before you can bring your family over to Qatar, Qatar government wants to be rest assured that you have a very good accommodation for them. Maybe if you're under your work visa, maybe if your company brought you over to Qatar, then you need to submit the employment agreement. In your employment agreement, it's going to be showing maybe the company that brought you over to Qatar, they are going to be providing you with accommodation, or they'll be the one sponsor, or they'll be giving you your accommodation allowance. But when you are the one that brought yourself over to Qatar, you need to submit your contract. That means your housing contract. So all these requirements, they are very, very essential, and Qatar don't joke with it. Now let's come to the what you need to put into consideration, because I've seen a lot of people reach out to me. How is it to come to Qatar with your family and everything? The first requirement I told you, this is what you need in Qatar, as to bring your family over to Qatar. These are the essential things you need to do. So now, according to my own research and according to people I've spoken to several times, that they've brought their family over to Qatar, these were some of the points I was able to gather. I actually came under family visa, and I've actually faced this thing. So I think I'm in the best position to like advise you before making that move. The first one is the residence visa. Most of the times, you might not be able to get like a direct resident visa for your family to come over to Qatar most of the times. At times, your family needs to come first on visit visa, while from there you can convert it to a resident visa. I'll take myself for example. I came as a visit visa. Then after 4 months, my visa was converted to a resident visa. So maybe you have been trying to apply directly. Maybe you have all the requirements and you have been trying to apply directly for your family to come under a resident visa, and it's not working through for you. You might need to bring them on visit visa over to Qatar before you can get the resident visa. While the next one is accommodation. Yes, Qatar is open to anywhere. Everywhere is conducive for your family to come and stay. But what I would advise is maybe you're not mobile, you don't have a car yet. You should get a house that is very close to the metro. And this is going to enable you, maybe when your wife starts working and you are also working, it's going to help you in your day-to-day activities. So put that in mind. Get accommodation that is close to the metro. And I've seen someone reach out to me that if you rent a studio, can your family live in a studio apartment? Qatar have no business with you and your family wherever it is that you want to stay. The most important thing is what you can afford. And Qatar government, they're not coming to come and knock on your door and asking you, why is your family staying in a studio? Why is your family staying in a shared apartment? Okay. That is what you can afford. So anyone that you know that you can afford, if it's a studio, if it's a 1 BHK, a flat, if it's a whole building you can afford, that you know that is going to be able to sustain you and your family, you are free to do that. The next point is coming with your spouse directly to Qatar on your own. I made this point earlier. When the company is bringing you over to Qatar and they are going to be giving you the family family sponsorship, yes, you can come directly with your family, because you know that yes, you have a job that is waiting for you here in Qatar. But when you are coming on a freelance visa, I would advise you come alone. And also, this same YouTuber said, if you are coming on a freelance visa, you and your wife can buy a freelance visa and come over to Qatar. I would not advise that, because even you that are coming on a freelance visa, you are not even sure of getting a job. So why will you put your family at risk and decide to come together with your family? I won't even advise that. If you are coming on a freelance visa, come first alone. Come alone. Why after 6 months, when you have seen the country and your company is willing to sponsor your wife and your family, then you can decide to bring your wife or your husband or your children to Qatar. I will not advise that you come with your spouse on a freelance visa. It's going to be very, very tough. While the next one is about free education. This same YouTuber also spoke about free education in Qatar. I am here to debunk that statement. There is no free education in Qatar. Yes, there might be free education to the Qatari citizens, and I have seen the Qatari citizens that they're actually paying for education. Okay, when you are coming to Qatar, have it at the back of your mind that you need to pay for your children's education. While there are some companies that they'll be the ones to pay for your children's education, like maybe the company might say, okay, till your child finish secondary school, will be the one in charge of their education. But this is not applicable to all the companies. Okay, there are times that you need to be the one in charge of your children education, so you are the one paying for it. And we have lots of English speaking schools in Qatar. I think it's only the government school that is Arabic speaking. The remaining schools, we have international schools in Qatar, they are all English speaking schools compared to other Middle East region. And there are affordable schools here in Qatar. It's depending on what you can afford. Okay, I've said it earlier, fingers are not equal. Okay, you have to check for the schools that you know that you can afford. While the next one, which is very important that you need to put into consideration, is renewal of ID, of your QID. QID is your identification card here in Qatar. I've said that previously on my channel. I've even put the picture of what a QID looks like. QID shows that you are eligible to work and stay in Qatar. And please note, when you are bringing your family over to Qatar, you are the one in charge of renewing their ID. Maybe you have a family of 5 staying in Qatar. That means it is you are responsible to renew your family ID, and if this ID is renewed annually. Okay, maybe your family is coming under you. Be rest assured that if your family is directly under you, you will be spending about 520 riyals to renew their ID per person. 500 riyals is the normal government charges, while 20 riyals is for the business center that wants charging you for that. If you are 5 in your house, times 520 times 5 people. Okay, the last point I'm going to be mentioning is your marriage certificate and your birth certificate. Okay, and this need to be attested by your embassy and the Ministry of Interior, that is MOI. Okay, if your marriage certificate and your your children's birth certificate, they are not attested, you will not be able to bring your family over to Qatar. Just know that every document that you are submitting, your school certificate, your marriage certificate, your children's birth certificate, it must be attested. And also your name and your wife's name should be on the birth certificate, the normal birth certificate, but all these things should be attested. So these are the things that you need to put into consideration before bringing your family over to Qatar. And these are the ones I can remember. Maybe you have actually brought your family to Qatar and there were some other things that you kept into consideration that I did not mention in this video. Please put it in the comment section. Remember what I usually say, we are here to learn, okay? And if you are new to this channel, please do well to subscribe to this channel. Come join this wonderful family. And to all my returning subscribers, oh my God, thank you all for always coming back to watch my videos. And we have new subscribers, new people have come and join this family. Thank you all for believing in me, and thank you all for supporting my dreams. Okay, I'll see you all in the next one, but always remember to love yourself. Bye.